Hello everyone. This is going to be a fairly comprehensive walkthrough of the various features and functions of LyriCue. When you install the app and open it up, you're going to see My Library. Pre-installed are 5 categories: rock, jazz, folk, speeches, and poems. You can delete all of these. I'll show you how if you want, but I've installed them to have some samples of the ways you can work with the app. Also, on first installation, you're going to notice that there's a pop-up. On each page of the app for first installation, you'll see this pop-up. You can re-enable these. These are just instructions that summarize the features of the page you're looking at. So we'll just click Got It because we know what we're doing. And so here we have our library. It's a collection of folders. You can create a new folder by clicking on this folder icon, and we'll just name this Special Occasion Songs. So we can reorder these folders. If you just long press, you can move it wherever you want. And then you can also slide left if you want to delete something. We'll leave it here for now though. We can also rename the folders by long pressing and then clicking on Rename. We can also sort alphabetically or reverse alphabetically. Each folder will contain your songs or your poems or jokes or whatever you're trying to memorize. But really the app is designed to favor lyrics. So we'll click on this sample song here. Now there are instructions that pop up, but I'm going to walk you through all that, so we're just going to dismiss this for now. So here's a sample song, the Midnight Special. So we'll click on this, and again I'm going to dismiss this because we're going to get into it. So here we have our main view. Now you can enlarge the font if you want by going to this. You can also pinch to zoom, but we'll just use the slider. We can change the font style to System or Georgia American Typewriter. We'll leave it at typewriter. We can change the line spacing here too, up to 5 spaced, and I'll show you why that might be useful in a second. So we'll close out of this. Now on this main page, what you can do is just tap on a line to blank it out. And the idea is that you want to be able to memorize lyrics, right? So you don't want to read every line. Ultimately, what you want is this, to not have to see anything. So you can tap a line to see it or unsee it. But then there's also this button down here, Hiding. Now hiding is where you can hide letters or words up to certain percentages. So here we're hiding 55% of the letters, starting with the last letter of each word. But we can change that to the first letter of each word, or just random letter hiding. And of course this will go all the way to 100%, and then you won't see anything. We can do the same with words. So we'll hide the last word of the line. Or we can switch it to hide the first word of the line, or just random words. Now once we have things hidden, you'll notice that there's a visibility toggle, this eye right at the bottom. So once we've done that, we can close out of the editor and just toggle that visibility, right? And this will happen for each of these functions, and I'll walk you through them. So we'll turn off the hiding visibility for now. Emoji is where you can assign pictorials or emojis to each word. And a fun way to do this is just with the autofill, which automatically populates the lyrics with available emojis. Now, not every word will have an emoji, but many of the main ones will. So we can click out of the emoji editor, and here you can see. If we combine this with hiding, you can see that it's almost like reading hieroglyphics. And the idea, of course, is to get you to memorize the lyrics, and a good way to do that is to associate lines with pictures. We can click off the emoji. And then we can also add our own. So we can just search for something, I don't know, land, or let's see if we find something suitable. We'll select this tree here and put it at land. So that way we get out of the emoji editor and we see this here, right here, land. The hiding for each line works. So if we wanted to just hide everything, we can do that just by clicking on the line. Now we're just left with emoji. And we'll undo our hiding. This was line hiding via the main view. You can turn on our hiding. Here again is the editor, so we're hiding 50% of the words randomly. Another thing we can do, I'm going to turn off hiding, is we can draw. So let's say there's a word that you're having trouble remembering and you want to emphasize it. You can just click on a pen. Here I've chosen the green pen, and we'll just draw a circle around land. We can highlight whatever we're trying to remember. We can also add chords. So the way you do that, or chord diagrams rather, the way you do that is you highlight this chord diagram and you just click anywhere and it'll place a chord diagram. You can enlarge it, you can delete it, but I'll add it again. And then after it's placed, if you like the position, you click on the diagram again and it'll fix it. Now you'll notice it's moved to black pen, so if we want, we can just draw in whatever the chord might be. We'll make this a G chord, G major. That way you can have a reminder, depending on your musical level, of what the chord is. So we'll write G over here. You can also do that for staff by clicking on this staff icon, placing it there. We can move it, and similarly we click on the staff icon again and it switches to pen, and we can draw in notes. If we don't like what we've placed, we can erase it with this eraser marker. You can also undo, so I'm going to undo these dots that I drew on the chord diagram all the way through, removing the chord diagram. Oops, I guess that doesn't work. So we'll just click on eraser, make it go away. You can also delete everything with the trash can button. And then you can enlarge things too. So let's say I circle this whole paragraph here. If I go to our font controller or pinch to zoom, you'll notice it all increases. Now it doesn't always stay together. It's just a limitation of these drawing layers with lyrics, but more or less it does. And again, we can hide our drawing markups with the eye toggle. Then while we can draw in chords, we can also use the chord placement so that we can add chords manually. So we could I don't know what the chords of this song are, but we'll just make some up. So we'll call it a G to a C major on the miss, and then the next line we'll make it an A minor 7. So you can see the selected chord right here. And then we place it here, and then let's make the next one a D7, and we'll put it on world. Get out of the editor, and now you can see the chords are there. And again, you can toggle them on and off. And the neat thing is if you go back into the chord editor and you decide, well, I don't like that key, you can transpose it in half steps. So we'll make it go 2 half steps lower, double click, now it's an F, and you'll notice it's an A sharp, which is atypical, so we don't want that. We can click the enharmonic button and it'll switch it to the more common B flat. And so you've got a variety of chord types here. You select your root, then whether it's natural, flat, or sharp. The default, of course, is natural. Then there's major, minor, 7th, major 7th, minor 7th, 6th, minor 6th, half diminished 7, diminished 7, diminished, augmented, sus4, sus2, and then slash chords. And then there are extensions, of course. So for any of these, you can add on an extension and then the transpose that I just mentioned. Now, in the sample songs, you'll notice that Amazing Grace has chords already. I can't really pinch to zoom because I'm actually doing this on my computer screen through the simulator, so it's just the best way to give a view of the app and make a screen movie. In any case, so I've enlarged it. You can toggle the chords on or off, and then we can do all the things we were doing before. We can hide letters, we can hide words randomly, we can assign emojis automatically, combined with hiding. So it looks a little messy. So you can toggle these things on or off to have it be very clean. On the right side of the toolbar is the audio button. If we press on that, we can import into our song an audio file that might be on your device, like an MP3 or a recording of a rehearsal. But you can also stream music from the major streaming services. So if you click on links, the song and the artist is automatically populated. You press search all, and it will search Apple Music, YouTube, and Spotify. If you don't want one of these, you can simply click and delete it all. But we'll use all three for now. So you click save, and now we can choose whichever streaming service we want. So let's try Spotify. Brings it up, we can click play. We can go back to our app and we can practice along while the audio is playing. I stopped it just to not have interference here, but if you want to stop the music, you have to go back out to the app. Now, how do you add a song? So let's go to this category or folder that we made before, special occasion songs. We'll select it and let's think of a song. How about Creep by Radiohead? You press on the plus button. Click done, and now you'll see it's added. Again, here's our reminder about what the process is, but I'm going to walk you through that. So you can either start typing your lyrics here now, or you can copy it from another app into LyriCue, but you can also use this import button. So this is a great database. It's the LRCLIB. It's a free community-driven database with lots of lyrics and versions of lyrics. So we're going to click on this first, direct import. It'll pull up the song, we just click it, and there you go. There's our lyrics. And we can do all the manipulations that we were doing before. We can change the font style. We can change the size. We can change the line spacing. Again, I'm doing this with a mouse. It's much more responsive on an actual iPad or iPhone. We can also hide the toolbar with this chevron symbol right here, this little downward arrow. Turns into an upward arrow. You'll notice there's two dots here. That just means that because we've enlarged the font, it splits it into two pages with only one line. So we could probably just shrink that down a bit so it gets all on one page. Yeah, there's no reason to have one line on a second page. Again, we can bring up our toolbar to do our hiding words again, drawing. Now there's other ways we can bring in a song. So let's say we want a different song. Let's do, how about Satisfaction? The Rolling Stones. Click on the import. This time we're not going to do direct import. We'll do, let's try Ultimate Guitar. If we do Ultimate Guitar, we actually can import the lyrics and chords. And what happens is it opens a Safari page with Ultimate Guitar links. We'll just click this first one. Now we don't want to copy all this stuff and the ads and everything, so we're just going to scroll up and start with this line here. So we're going to highlight as much as we can. And I'll scroll down. I don't recommend using the Ultimate Guitar app for this. I found it's better to just stay on the web page, less fussy. Okay, once we've got it highlighted, we can click copy, go back to LyriCue right here, click paste, allow paste, and there we go. We've got the song with chords. And we can toggle those chords on and off. We can change keys if we want. So let's say we want to do it up in A for some reason, even though E's the better key for the song. So we'll put it back down to E. Okay, let's do another song, and I'll show you a different import method. Let's do Crazy by Willie Nelson. This time, rather than importing directly from this database or Ultimate Guitar, we'll just choose AZLyrics, which takes you right to the website. And again, all you need to do is click on it and highlight, copy, go back to LyriCue, hit paste, allow paste, boom. Your lyrics are there, ready for hiding or drawing or emoji. We'll just have some fun and add some emoji automatically here. Then, of course, in that same import page, we'll do one more song real quick. Try this song, Something Stupid by Frank Sinatra. Do import, and this time let's hit Google. So again, we can just highlight these lyrics, copy, go back to LyriCue, hit paste, allow paste, and the lyrics are there. Now you'll notice each time we pasted, we had to hit allow paste. A way around that is to go back, go back to the import menu and do this. Open the LyriCue in the iPhone or iPad app settings. Just right here. Paste from other apps. We have to set this to allow. Now it won't ever ask again. Basically, you're giving the app permanent permissions to always be able to paste. Another thing you can do, if you want to edit the lyrics, let's say you want to just put in commas for whatever reason, or extra space that's permanent, you can do that here. You can change words. Even though that's not the correct word, but you get the point. And of course, you can also add your own lyrics. So if you have a song, you can just start typing. Blah, blah, blah. Now, similar to the library, you can rearrange the order here. So you can arrange a set if you like. You can also sort by title or by artist. And it can be A to Z or Z to A. You can delete by swiping left. And then you can also move any song into a different folder if you like. You just long press and you press copy to or move to. So we'll put this in rock. And then we go back out here and it's there. So this button over here, the gear, is the traditional settings for an app. And in the settings, you have help and instructions, where there's a condensed instruction set of how to use the app. There's video tutorials on YouTube, and then you can email support at this link. There are several themes. There's a lighter theme. The default is Olay. There's navy, which is actually a dark blue toolbar. If we go to one of the items here, you'll see that it's a blue toolbar in this case. Go back. There's also dark mode that just inverts everything. We can also show the tutorial bubbles again if you want to remember what the messages originally said. When you first open, you just click this, and then the tutorial bubbles will start again. You can rate the app by clicking this link. You can get it or go to the App Store listing from this link if you want to copy and send to a friend. There's also iCloud backup. This is enabled, and you can also do a forced upload or download from iCloud. So what this allows you to do is have your songs backed up to iCloud, which will download to another device, or if you lose your device or have to reinstall the app, you can re-download all the lyrics again, and you won't have to start from scratch and re-enter.